I am Susan Bunting, Delaware's Secretary of Education. It is annually a special honor for me to be a part of this incredible evening. After a year when we couldn't get together, it's particularly special to be here in person with our 20 nominees and to also have the ability to stream the night's program with all of you at home. I would like to express our gratitude to the Capital School District's Dover High School staff for hosting us in this beautiful auditorium tonight. This large room has allowed us to be together and to gather in person with our 20 nominees, who each were able to bring with them a few guests. As we remain mindful of COVID-19 in our community, our guests are wearing face coverings with their seats spaced between households so that we can be together as safely as possible. We also appreciate our colleagues at the Government Information Center in the Department of State who are helping us stream this event tonight so that more of you can take part in this special evening. Let me give a special shout out to one of our online viewers, Appaquiddick Teacher of the Year, Amanda Binkley, who is watching from home tonight while quarantined. Amanda has colleagues here to represent her though, and while we will miss having her with us, we are glad that she's able to join us online so that she won't miss this wonderful celebration. At this time, I invite our district superintendents and charter leader to share their special gifts with their nominees for State Teacher of the Year, if you can find them in the dark. That is always a special part of our evening together, a long, long tradition. And now to both those at home and those who are with us in the House, on behalf of the Delaware Department of Education, I welcome you all to our celebration for the 2022 Delaware Teacher of the Year, a night when we recognize educators' life-changing contributions to Delaware's young people. Before we begin the official program, I have the honor of recognizing some of tonight's special guests, including the 2021 Delaware Teacher of the Year, Kimberly Stock. We'll hear from her a little later in the evening. We are honored to have Governor John Carney, an unwavering supporter of our schools, with us this evening. Governor, would you like to offer a few welcoming remarks to kick off our celebration?
Thank you very much, Dr. Bunting, and boy, it looks good to see so many of you here tonight for this event. It is really an exciting thing. We didn't have the event last year, so it's great to be here, although spaced out appropriately, as I can see, and with only limited attendees. We're not enjoying a nice dinner, but it is great to be back in person with our special nominees tonight. It's great to be here with our Lieutenant Governor, with our Congresswoman, who you'll hear from in a minute, with our State Treasurer. We know that Voya, who is a contractor for our State Treasurer's office, is a sponsor of this event and a really important vendor for our state. And of course, the chairs of the Senate Education and House Education Committees, Senator Sturgeon, Representative Williams, I think you'll hear from them as well. Annually, after we have the designated Teachers of the Year in the district and the State Teacher of the Year, I have the privilege of welcoming the whole group to Woodburn for a luncheon during the summertime. We haven't had that lunch in the last 2 years, so just in the last several weeks, Dr. Bunting and I and Allison, and I should ask Allison to stand up and be recognized for all her work in putting this together. There she is, stepping in the big shoes of Betty Torbert, who did this for many years. But we had the dinner on the porch behind Woodburn, and it was really a great opportunity for me to talk to each of the Teachers of the Year about their individual experiences in their schools. And there are two, particularly under the conditions of the last of COVID-19 of the last 2 years. And there are two things that really stuck out for me. We did something that I called Worst Day, Best Day. Kim Stock is sitting here and was there to share her thoughts. And to hear their worst days would bring tear to your eyes. And then to hear their best days, of course, would lift you up and make you believe that the future is bright for all of us. We heard about learning loss. We heard about children that came to school unprepared or not as prepared as they were in past years. We heard of all the challenges. We heard of individuals who died from COVID and what a terrible thing that was. At the same time, we saw and heard the great enthusiasm of each of those teachers, and it made me feel so optimistic about the present and future of our state, because we know that our success as a state is depending on the success of every single student. And so I want to congratulate all the teachers of the year, and ultimately the final Delaware State Teacher of the Year, who we'll know about tonight. I look forward to meeting you in person when you come to Woodburn, hopefully on time this year instead of waiting for 2 years. And I'd like to take this opportunity to have you help me to thank Dr. Bunting for her tremendous leadership for our state over the last... Please. Dr. Bunting has had an incredible career in education here at our state. I'm not sure she wants me to tell you how many years it is, but it's over 4 decades. And I first met her when I was lieutenant governor, and she was the assistant superintendent in Indian River. And what struck me the most was the way that she understood that education is really a team enterprise with principals and assistant principals and staff and teachers and educational aides and everybody across the board. And they were doing that in her school district. And so my interest in her serving as secretary for these 5 years was fundamentally in that, and making our Department of Education a service-oriented department that really was geared towards lifting up and helping all of our districts, all of our superintendents, and all the folks that were principals in schools and teachers of those schools worked together as a team. And I think that's what she'll be remembered for the most, as well as providing additional resources for children from disadvantaged backgrounds and English learners, not to mention with the support of our legislative leaders in the General Assembly, support for counselors in every school in our state. Let me close by thanking all the parents and support staff. Could all the support people who are with your Teachers of the Year, spouses and children and mothers and dads and other school, come on, stand up and be recognized, because you've got a part of this as well. Congratulations to all of you. Have a great night. I look forward to the final designation of Delaware's Teacher of the Year for 2021. Two. Dr. Bunting, always there to keep me straight.
Thank you, Governor. Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long has been a champion of our students for many, many years as well, particularly with efforts to support their health and their well-being. We're so grateful to have her with us tonight, and we now invite her to come up and say a few words as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bunting. As Governor Carney indicated, it is awesome to see those of you who have really been upholding the fabric of our state for decades. I won't say how many for some of us, but particularly these past 19 months, as the governor indicated, it has not been easy. And to our governor, let's give him a round of applause too. This has not been an easy time. Thank you, Governor, for your hard leadership. I know tonight is about our teachers, but you've made the difference. It's been tough, and for those listening at home, the family and support, family service folks who could not attend this evening, we thank you. It does take such a village. And you as teachers, top tier among your peers, it is an incredible honor to be nominated. All of you are winners in our hearts. Those of us tonight who are coming up to give you opening remarks are so incredibly indebted to you. You set the pathway. You know, Nelson Mandela said it best when he talked about education is the weapon of change and promise. And you are the promise to our future. And despite the obstacles of testing and vaccines and masking, we have made it through the year. And I want to say thank you for that. And for our children who struggle with our ACEs and our trauma and the social emotional challenges, thank you. And as someone who works in the STEM field, recognizing potential in all of our children in all of the zip codes and in equity, each and every one of you, whether you're in arts and physical education to the STEM and the sciences, languages, everything you do is a melting pot of success in a child in a classroom to the future. And I have to say to our secretary, as our governor indicated, I know she's blushing behind the mask, she made a difference, and each of you make a difference. Our secretary made a difference in my life where I'm really young, but Secretary Bunting was a teacher at Sebbyville Middle School when I was at Sebbyville Middle School. And she taught my chief of staff and is endless and been a role model, and we just thank you so much. So let's give it up to Secretary Bunting one more time for her impact. And as great teachers, your impact on each of us. So this evening you'll hear from us. Please know that our doors are open. Our governor's had you to dinner. All of us stand ready and armed to assist you in any way possible, whether a member of the legislature, my office, whatever it is that you need. Thank you. Enjoy this moment. Embrace it. And to the superintendents and the principals who are here, kudos to you for recognizing the gifted talent that you brought with you tonight. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to my former teacher, Secretary Dr. Bunting.
What an honor it is for us to have with us this evening members of our congressional delegation. Senator Carper is on his way here and will join us later in the evening. And I'm thankful to have with us Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, who must return to Washington tonight. So we're really appreciative of that time that she can spend with us. Thank you for taking the time to do all this traveling just for us, but it is symbolic of your representation and your appreciation of teachers. So I know that you have something in your heart to share with us, and I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Secretary Bunting. Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. As Secretary Bunting shared, I will literally be jumping in a car, heading back to Wilmington and heading to Washington, D.C. Tonight. But I just felt it was really important to be here to do two things. One, to congratulate you, but also to celebrate you. As educators, I have to say, you mentioned my heart, and it is really full tonight in this room. Secretary Bunting, for your service and your leadership as an educator who actually could speak from that place of being an educator and lead the Department of Education. Thank you for your work. To the governor and to the lieutenant governor and to our legislators who have kept us going throughout this pandemic. I mean, this is a time like no other, and so I am grateful. But I'm especially grateful to you as educators and your families and the folks that support you. You know, I guess part of it is I'm thinking about a Zoom that I did with a group of teachers, and they talked about during this pandemic the challenge of not only teaching, which is a normal everyday challenge, but during a pandemic and having their own kids in rooms that they're trying to be on Zooms, the power going out or the broadband not being strong enough, which is why the governor just announced with us a $110 million broadband investment in the state of Delaware. Because we know that the pandemic actually pushed the future of work. It pushed the future of work, distance learning, telehealth, telemedicine, all of these things. You've seen it yourselves. And so I thought about how you have been adaptable, flexible, creative, innovative. And so this year's 20, it's 20, correct?
2022 for the Teachers of the Year.
But I mean, how many teachers are?
20.
Yes, 20. And how many are out of how many? Like 10,000, I heard?
Oh, a lot.
I heard it's like 20 of you out of 10,000. That's incredible. That is incredible to me. So I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards, and I think I saw from Brandywine School District, she even wore her pumps and everything. She came prepared to accept an award, and I am just so excited to be with you. I wanted to just mention the American Rescue Plan and our goal as the senators and myself to try to bring those resources to Delaware to work in partnership, because we wanted to make sure that we could open up our schools safely and that you had the resources that you need. And that's one of the reasons why we go back to Washington to do our work. But I lastly want to mention balance and your own, not just physical health, but mental health. I hope that everybody's taking care of themselves. And for me, one of the things that I've had to do is while I'm ironing my clothes, getting ready for work, I'm like watching a lot of Netflix. I don't know why. I'm streaming a lot of stuff. And look, I see some people shaking their heads, a lot of Amazon Prime and Netflix going on. And recently I've been watching like 1950s rom-coms, you know, like the early romantic comedies. And I saw one about a week or two ago called Three Guys Named Mike. I don't know if anybody has ever seen, you've seen this movie, Three Guys Named Mike, with Jane Wyman, and it's about a flight attendant who has three guys that are suitors that are coming after her named Mike. And you ever watching something and you just stop in the middle, and I stopped the video, I stopped the streaming, because there was a quote that reminded me of you. And it was from one of the Mikes. And Mike, there was a Mike a pilot, because she was a flight attendant. There's a pilot, there's an advertising guy like in Mad Men, and then there was a teacher. And this Mike said, teaching is about as close to immortality as you can come. In every class that you teach, someone will remember something that you say. And because of it, their life will be changed a little. And they'll change someone else's life. In that way, you become projected into the future. As a mom of two children who went through the Brandywine School District from Mount Pleasant Elementary to Brandywine High School, as a daughter and a sister here in Delaware who have experienced education, as a worker and as a boss, I want to just say to you, thank you. Thank you for what you are doing, not just in the past and even in this current moment, but for your immortality in the future. I'm standing here today as a congresswoman because of words that teachers gave me. I'll never forget that. And so I want to just say, on behalf of all of us in Delaware, especially in this moment, we are grateful to you, we love you, and we celebrate you. Congratulations to the winner and to all of you. Thank you.
Also with us this evening is Colleen Davis, who as State Treasurer is working to support the financial futures of educators across our state. I welcome her to come and say some greetings to you as well.
Well, thank you all so much for having me with you this evening. I really appreciate joining you. You know, I go to a lot of these events throughout the year, but this one is special on both a personal and professional level. You know, professionally, one of my top responsibilities as state treasurer is to provide leadership on states' investment programs. And as stated in Delaware law, That is to be done with care, skill, prudence, and diligence. That mission and method might sound familiar to you, but you're not investing money, you're investing in something much more valuable, the future. Our students are our future, and though the law dictates what drives how I manage investments, it's your heart and your life's calling that leads you to act with that same care, skill, prudence, and diligence. Please never underestimate the difference you can make in a person's life. It was a 9th grade English teacher who saw something in me, something I didn't even see in myself, and told me it was time to apply for the honors program. I did, and by the time I was a senior in high school, my entire roster was filled with honors and AP programs. While it might not always seem the case, your students are paying attention, and any comment you make may change the way they look at the world and themselves. And that may be the best investment management that exists. One final note. In addition to all of this year's nominees, there's someone here tonight who's been mentioned several times, but who deserves a lot of thanks for years of inspiration and leadership. Dr. Susan Bunting will be leaving her role as Secretary of Department of Education later this year. And as Governor Carney said just a few weeks ago, Secretary Bunting has spent a lifetime dedicated to public education in Delaware and the people of our state. I know because I am one of those children who benefited from her leadership in the Indian River School District, and my children continue to benefit from her leadership. You guys may not know this, but she dedicates her Monday through Friday to all of you and all of us. And on Sundays, she reads in Sunday school to preschoolers. My daughter entered kindergarten this year reading full books from start to finish. And I credit her for the time that she spent on Sunday mornings with my daughter, Margot. The people of our state have truly been lucky to have her at the helm. And hopefully all of the educators here tonight benefited from her leadership as secretary or her time as district superintendent. But you all should see her as an inspiration, since before rising to the state's top spot in education, she was a District Teacher of the Year nominee, just like you. So thank you again, and congratulations to each and every one of you. You may one day be sitting in this chair.
Thank you all. And from our General Assembly, we are honored to have with us the Chair of the House Education Committee, Representative Kim Williams, and the Chair of the Senate Education Committee, Senator Laura Sturgeon. Representative Williams would like next to share a short message with all of us. Thank you.
I always come prepared with my remarks because my mind wanders. So first, I just want to also thank Secretary Bunting for her leadership. I have truly loved working with her. She is an amazing, amazing leader, and we've been so fortunate to have you, and I will truly miss you. Hi, everyone. So thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to first congratulate the 20 remarkable teachers that are here this evening. I am truly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, truly honored to be here. I just love these events. We're all here to celebrate your outstanding work and recognize you as leaders in our schools, in our districts, and across our state. Your love of learning and devotion to profession is something that we often do not recognize enough. The words above and beyond are just so inadequate to describe what you and your fellow educators have been asked to do for our children over the last year and a half. And I think we owe you another round of applause for all the work that you've done. Even before the pandemic, your support and care is what makes such long-lasting bonds and memories that paves the way for their successful future in the next generation of students. The 20 nominees here tonight and teachers across our state know the value that they can have in one child's life. I know from personal experience as a parent that had 2 children with a developmental delay that through teachers like you, they were able to have a quality education. As many of you know, this is what started my involvement with education policy throughout Delaware. I've always believed that it is essential to give educators the resources that are needed and to do what we can as policymakers to support your work inside and outside the classroom. It is through people like you, our teachers, your dedication and your determination that allows our children to strive for the stars with you as their shining light. With the 20 of you here tonight as the brightest. Thank you and congratulations, and I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for all that you've done for our children and throughout the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Williams. Senator Sturgeon, as a retired educator from the Brandywine School District, has a very special interest in this evening. So I welcome you now to share a few remarks as well. Thank you.
Oh, it's so good to be here with all of you. Thank you, Secretary Bunting. And I, too, want to echo the comments that were made by many of the speakers before me. Secretary Bunting has been amazing to work with. She has such a good heart. She is so kind. And I always loved her approach to the Department of Education was for it to be there to be a support agency for what you all do, not to dictate in some kind of heavy-handed way, but rather to truly support. And that's, I know, what teachers are always looking for, whether it's from their building level administration or their district level administration, or indeed the Department of Ed. We're looking for support. Allow us to do what we know how to do as professionals. And so that vision is the one that Secretary Bunting brought to the job and to the DOE, and I think that was ideal. As a teacher, I appreciated that. Thank you. And so for all of you, my main 2 words are admiration and gratitude. You were the frontline workers of this pandemic in our schools. You stepped up and stepped in. When everything had to go virtual, you suddenly had to pivot and learn how to teach online. Many of you had never done so. And sometimes you had to teach students both online and in person at the same time. That is remarkable that you were able to do that in a meaningful way for our students. Then when the students came back in person, you once again had to step in and you had to normalize mask wearing and distancing, things that, I could hardly get my students to stay seated in their seats sometimes. And I would think, I can't imagine. I retired, it just so happened I retired like 3 months before the pandemic hit. So I used to think to myself, how are they going to do this? How are they going to get the kids to keep the masks on, to stay, 3 or 6 feet apart? I am in such awe because I have heard the stories and I have seen the way students did adapt when they went back in person, and that's because of the model you set and the fact that you set the sort of the expectation and you had the consistency, and students really did adapt and learn to live under these new circumstances that they're still learning under, and that's because of you and your leadership. I saw a meme recently that was incredibly powerful. It said that a 4th grader starting 4th grade this year, and I know that's been a couple weeks ago now that we're in October, but a 4th grader who started, in 4th grade of this this past September had not had a normal school year since first grade. And a fifth grader hadn't had a normal school year since second grade, and a sixth grader since third grade, and so on and so forth. And when I think about a ninth grader entering high school for the first time, had not had a normal school year since sixth grade, I realize how much you all have on your plates. You are actually teaching students not only curriculum, but you're teaching them how to be students. You're teaching them how to be students in a classroom all day long, sitting at a desk and hopefully moving around the room doing other activities, but being in school and not at home or online. I know from experience that teachers are always being asked to do more. We are always adding more to your plates, and we seldom take anything away. Never has that been more true than over these last 2 years or so. And so I want you all to know that I see you, we admire and appreciate all that you have done. And congratulations, because if you're here tonight, it means you have done a superlative job under extremely difficult circumstances, and you are all to be so commended. Thank you for all you do for our kids.
Thank you, Senator Sturgeon. Our State Board of Education is an important partner for strengthening our schools. It is my privilege to now introduce Wendy Turner, our 2017 Delaware Teacher of the Year, who also sits on the State Board as the teacher representative. Wendy?
Thank you, Dr. Bunting. I would like to say a personal thank you to Dr. Bunting. Quite honestly, you are my Secretary of Education because I was named the Teacher of the Year 5 years ago, and my tenure has been with you, so thank you for your kindness and your example and all that you've done for students, families, and educators. I appreciate it. Good evening. I'm honored to be representing the Delaware State Board of Education here tonight at this wonderful celebration of excellence in education in our great state of Delaware. It's very, very special to be here in person with everyone tonight. It's a beautiful thing. So first, the State Board of Education would like to honor and express gratitude for all Delaware educators, given the extraordinary contributions they've made to students and families over the past 19 months. Whether you're sitting here in person this evening, watching live, or you're out there somewhere in the 302, we want to say thank you. We know and understand the great challenges you have faced head-on and will continue to navigate with grace, dedication, passion, and perseverance, all in the name of our students and families, those that you serve. And personally, I see all of you in my reflection because I'm one of you. I'm a teacher. I know what you've been through and what you continue to do every single day. So thank you. To the amazing 2022 District and Charter Teachers of the Year here tonight, congratulations. Tonight is a celebration of the magic that happens in all of your classrooms and your spaces every single day. Like diamonds, you sparkle and shine with your brilliance. You are valuable and strong, rare, and you take our breath away. Quite simply, we gather here today to celebrate your excellence, your drive, your passion, and your impact, as well as that sparkle and shine. You've been recognized in the most extraordinary of times. So we are the fortunate ones. What a gift it is to be here with you tonight, to bask in your glow, to be perched on the edge of your auras as we learn your stories and come away inspired and better for knowing and learning from all of you. Wherever your journey as a teacher leader takes you after tonight, please make sure that it does not end. We need you, your voices, your passion, and your perspective in every nook and cranny of our education system. We need you to advocate and work for equitable policies at the local and state level, as well as for changes to preparation programs so that future educators are ready to meet and support 21st century learners on day one of their teaching careers. Our students and families need you to continue to bring your passion and innovation to the ground floor of our system, in your classrooms and your schools, modeling your practice and examples for others. We need you to support pre-service teachers with your strong example, your mentorship, and we need your support for a more diversified and representative educator pipeline for the future. Quite simply, we just need you. We need you to continue to shine no matter where that is and how you do it. Years of hard work, effort, and dedication have brought you here tonight. You deserve it every single moment. So please enjoy it. We're simply grateful for all of you. Felicidades, Mabruk, Badhai Ho, Mazel Tov, Gongxi, Felicitari, Chukmong, Eku Orire, and congratulations.
Thank you to all of our speakers so far, and we are very grateful to have another that is very special to this program, because our next speaker is going to be the person who represents the financial support for Delaware's Teacher of the Year program from Voya Financial. Voya has been a long-standing partner with us, and it is because of Voya's generosity that our nominees were able to participate in some enriching professional development this past summer. Voya's grant also helps fund tonight's celebration, including the video that you are about to see, as well as the participation in national conferences that our state winner will benefit from in the year ahead. Thank you to Regional Vice President Doug Peters for joining us tonight. I invite him to share a few words and to lead us into tonight's special video presentation. It's all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Bunting, and thank you so much for your partnership over these last few years. You and Allison, thank you. Without your partnership, none of this happens, and honestly, from our perspective, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. So good evening. I'm what stands between you and getting introduced to our 20 honorees this evening, so I will be brief. But I wanted to say, on behalf of all of Voya, congratulations. We're thrilled to partner with the state of Delaware. What you may not know is this is our 14th year supporting the Delaware Teacher of the Year program. Yeah. And I'm very proud that support has evolved over the years. As Dr. Bunting mentioned, it's more than just a celebration that we have tonight, which is great, but our support goes to professional development, workshops, coaching for our cohort each year, and that's exciting. Our support of educators throughout the country extends to the National Teacher of the Year, and I look forward to greeting one of you in a couple of weeks in Washington, D.C. at the National Teacher of the Year conference. So congratulations to all of you. I think it was said earlier, you're all winners. And from me personally, thank you for what you do every day for the next generation. And if I can leave one bit of advice, I can't stand up here with my orange tie and my orange mask without providing a little bit of advice, and that is keep saving. Keep saving for the future, okay? And in addition to the financial aspects and benefits of doing that, okay, you will gain more confidence as you save and prepare for the future, and that confidence will give you the time and energy to do what you do best, which is leading our youth and educating them for the future. So without further ado, it's my honor to introduce you to the 20 honorees for the Delaware State Teacher of the Year.
Good evening, and welcome to the 58th Annual Delaware Teacher of the Year ceremony. Thank you, Voya Financial, for your generous support that has made this evening possible. Tonight, we honor 20 teachers representing each of our 19 school districts and the Delaware Charter Network. One will be named the 2022 Delaware Teacher of the Year and serve as the first state's nominee for the 2022 National Teacher of the Year program. But first, let's meet our 20 nominees. From the Appoquinnock School District, Odessa High School engineering and computer science teacher Amanda Binkley. One former student who praised Binkley for helping her fall in love with engineering said her influence extended beyond academics. When my mom died in 2019, I was devastated. Prior to her passing, I hadn't had much experience with death or grief, and I felt like I was drowning. But whenever I felt really sad or was having a particularly rough day, she was always there for me and my brother. I think it's easy to reduce people to their title, teacher, student, officer, etc., and forget that there's more to them. But Miss Binkley treated me as a person and a young adult, and it meant the world to me.
I am no stranger to failure. My inability to connect with math content resulted in several failed courses during my first 3 years of high school. I even attended summer school for credit recovery twice. Yet there was never a question of me graduating on time, because even though I was not a strong student on paper, I still had connections with educators at my school. The time these adults took to get to know me as a person and not just as a student showed me that I had value. It is due to the educators who believed in me when I did not believe in myself that I seek to build relationships with my own students.
From the Brandywine School District, Brandywine High special education teacher Joshua Tabron. Tabron is known for her student-first attitude, work-hard ethic, and dedication to her students. Said one administrator, Tabron is an admirable mentor to new teachers who possesses an incredible knowledge for fostering equitable educational practices, culturally responsive teaching, and diversity training.
I'm reminded daily that I am a part of something important, something bigger than myself and my classroom. We are a village. We support and hold each other to high standards. We uplift, we persevere. School communities teach us to work with intent. At the core of a true school community, there is accountability, solidarity, and a mutual understanding of why we are here, to prepare our students. This is what creates successful students and successful schools. My current school community is charged with nurturing and supporting our 9th grade students. Our community includes teachers, counselors, and administrators. The development of our freshman focus team allows interdisciplinary collaboration through content and attention to the whole student. I work with experts, families, and students in varying circumstances. These experiences make me who I am as a teacher.
From the Caesarani School District, W.B. Simpson Elementary physical education teacher Karen Scott. Pointing to her leadership of school, district, and statewide initiatives, colleagues described how Scott has transformed physical education, saying she has revitalized antiquated traditions, implemented innovative lessons to maximize student movement, and cultivated a school-wide culture towards personal fitness and healthy living.
Taking the lead from my mother, I have been inspired to make physical activity enjoyable for elementary students of all abilities. My role model and mentors have given me a passion to learn, understand, improve, and maintain a balanced and healthy lifestyle by providing lessons that are engaging and relevant. If students enjoy physical activity from a young age, they are more likely to continue practicing lifelong healthy habits, which fulfills my goal as a PE teacher.
From the Cape Henlopen School District, Richard A. Shields Elementary 3rd grade teacher Mara Johnson. When you walk into her classroom, the students are truly engaged in experimental learning and problem solving that allow them to learn without really knowing it, one administrator said. There is a classroom environment where all students feel safe and affirmed.
So when I think about what I love most about teaching, it's really hard for me to pick just one thing because there are so many. School and my classroom, that is my happy place, and it always has been. It's like a second home to me. Hands down, my students are my favorite part about teaching, and that is what I love most. They inspire me to be my best every single day and to try my best, and they deserve it. They deserve to have a teacher who is incredibly passionate and excited to be with them each day. They bring so much joy and fun and laughter and love into my life on a regular basis.
From the Capital School District, Hartley Elementary kindergarten teacher Morgan Jewell. When COVID-19 forced the closure of the school building in spring 2020, Jewell facilitated a seamless transition for her kindergartners. Her calming demeanor never shifted. She continued to communicate on a daily basis, and she recognized the needs of her students. In addition to the daily academic Zooms, class dojo activities, videos, etc., she also called once a week to check in on the entire family.
To me, being a teacher meant I would have the opportunity to build relationships with students and create a classroom environment that would encourage them to love learning and become lifelong learners. I wanted the opportunity to make a difference in the life of a child at an early age. To me, the most rewarding part about being a teacher is seeing my students have those light bulb moments. And not only recognizing those myself to encourage me as a teacher, but also helping my students recognize when they're having those light bulb moments and helping them to celebrate when they have those moments and celebrate all of their victories, big and small. I know that for me, it's empowering to know I'm making a difference in the life of even one child. Teachers have faced many obstacles, but we're still building relationships. We're still supporting their social emotional well-being, and we're still advocating for mental health. And it's empowering to know as a teacher, I'm able to make that impact.
From the Charter School Network, Las Americas Aspira Academy, 3rd grade Spanish immersion teacher, Dana Magana. When you walk into Dana's classroom, it is clear she has built a positive learning environment, one colleague said. Dana truly cares about her students and their journey to becoming bilingual and biliterate students. You can see this in the time she takes to deliberately plan her lessons in Spanish using biliteracy techniques to ensure language acquisition in both mathematics and science.
Because I was always the timid student in the back of the classroom that rarely participated, because I wasn't confident in my language abilities or my responses. It's odd that I'm now on center stage every day and have dozens of pairs of eyes watching my every move, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Realizing my own challenges and successes in school inspired me to try to make a difference in the lives of others. My own love for learning led me to choose a profession where I can help others to grow and accomplish their goals. It seemed like everyone around me knew I was destined to be a teacher except for me. I always loved helping others and supporting my classmates in school, so naturally I became a teacher. I teach so that I can watch my students grow into the bilingual leaders that I know they will be in the future. I teach because I know what my students are capable of and want to push them to accomplish the goals they set for themselves. I teach to provide my students with the tools and resources they need to learn. I teach because I believe that representation matters, and I want my students to see that they too can be teachers, doctors, engineers, no matter their skin color or their socioeconomic status.
The Christina School District, John R. Downs Elementary, 4th grade teacher, Carla Prost. Calling her the child whisperer, Prost principal said she is the teacher to whom she sends peers to visit when they are having difficulties managing behaviors in their own rooms. Ms. Prost has multiple teaching strategies in her teaching bag and will continue trying various strategies until she hits upon one that works for the child.
What inspired me to become a teacher? I was a homeroom mother in my youngest son's 2nd grade classroom. I was helping with writer's workshop and assisting a student with her revising and editing. I looked around the room, watching all of the students working at their desks, and had such a sense of belonging and fulfillment. My words and actions were helping the students become better writers, and I was experiencing all of the joys of being a teacher. The experiences in that classroom inspired me to become a teacher. One of the best stories I have in my classroom, I'm a Beatles fan, and everybody knows that, and I talk to my students about that, and I play music for them, and my cell phone ringtone is a Beatles song. So my students have gotten used to hearing it, and I'll just say ignore that, and we're going to keep working. One day, I was doing small reading groups, and my phone went off and started ringing. Every student in class started singing along to that song. And I just looked at the teaching partner in my room like, oh, there was a deer in the classroom, and they all just kept singing along, and that just filled my heart with so much joy that we had that moment. And when you teach, you have all of those little moments that keep you coming back to the classroom, and that was just awesome.
From the Colonial School District, Southern Elementary physical education teacher, Robert Poore. Poore has redefined the role and expectations of a physical education teacher, his principal said. As a leader in his field, he has grown his role to attend to students' social and emotional well-being, inclusion, as well as physical component. As a member of our school community, he is willing to share ideas for improvement in these areas, and he is also willing to do the work.
When I think about the teachers that have inspired me the most, they're the ones that not only challenged me, but they're the ones that supported me through those challenges. They gave me opportunities to fail, let me know that I was safe, and let me know that I was supported to get back up and try again. I believe it is a teacher's job to facilitate growth in all students. And to do that well, we have to get to know them on a personal level. We have to know what it is they're passionate about, what it is that frustrates them, and how do we best not only serve them in that moment, but prepare them to be successful in the future.
In the Delmar School District, Delmar High School mathematics teacher, Sonia Warner. One of Warner's students said the most valuable lessons she has learned from her aren't algebraic expressions. Miss Warner taught me to believe in myself before I walk into Miss Warner's class my junior year. I hated math. I came into her room with a negative mindset and believed I couldn't do it. I labeled myself a failure before I started, but Miss Warner saw the best in me.
Teaching, it's a new day every day, a new beginning. I had jumped into the master's program and a year and a half later was certified and had found my passion. I absolutely love it. When things don't go as planned, the yellow buses return the next day for another chance. It's hard to explain to someone not in education what a good day is in the classroom. A good day in the office is a good day. In the classroom, when students have aha moments or things go perfectly planned, you're on top of the world. It's the greatest joy. I take a lot of pride in teaching during the pandemic. I worked endlessly creating and building and maintaining relationships with my students and my parents. I logged 6,012 parent contacts throughout the year. I also daily maintained contact with many of my students that I knew would struggle during this new learning environment. Students need compassion while holding them accountable. We have to keep in mind they are only teenagers, and some of them don't have anyone else to guide them.
From the Indian River School District, East Millsboro Elementary special education teacher, Hailey Mears. When you walk into Miss Mears' multi-grade ILC classroom, you will immediately notice the high expectations for learning as you watch her students actively participating in hands-on, supportive learning environment, her principal said. Miss Mears encourages inquiry, cooperative groups, student discussions, and personal goal setting in both ELA and math.
I love to plan activities that are fun and engaging for the kids and gets them excited. And honestly, I just love to have fun in the classroom as well. I also love when kids have that light bulb moment when they finally, grasp something that they've been working really hard at. And the thing that I love most about being a teacher is just being able to be a positive influence on my kids' lives. I was super blessed to have really great teachers in my school career, and so now that I'm the teacher, I realize how powerful it is to have those positive relationships with students and their families. I put a lot of energy and emphasis on building those relationships with families and getting them into the classroom and staying involved. And I also have a huge focus in my classroom on social emotional learning. I know that curriculum is really important, but I'm also a firm believer that being a good person is better than just being a smart one. And so I want to make sure my students know how to be patient and kind and persistent and accepting. And so it feels really great to know that I'm helping them develop into a well-rounded person.
From the Lake Forest School District, Lake Forest South Elementary kindergarten teacher, Clay Beechum. One colleague praised Beechum for how he mentors and supports other teachers. Mr. Beechum is a great listener and solver of problems. He is a true team player. He understands that just because your opinion may differ from his, that does not make you wrong. It is his willingness to listen that makes him such a valuable asset to our school.
Teaching is something that has been rooted in me for a long time. I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, probably back when I was in 3rd grade. I remember in that classroom, there were little chalkboards and old school books that we were allowed to play with. My teacher let us check off papers to help her out. From that point on, I knew that teaching was going to be my career path. I love teaching the foundational skills that the students will use as building blocks for further concepts. I also love it when you are teaching, you can experience the wheels that are turning in their minds as they are grasping the content. It is also a great feeling when students take ideas that you share and run with them. I have been fortunate enough to teach many grade levels over my years of teaching. I have experienced more foundational skills, and I'm truly seeing how they're built upon, even being surprised to see that sometimes concepts reappear in the future. It has allowed me to sing more with the children and act a bit goofier. I started every day with a puppet or a stuffed animal, which the students loved because they did not know what they would see. It did bring comfort to many students who might be anxious, with this being their first school experience. I also share with students that it is okay to make mistakes, that not everyone is perfect, and we learn from our mistakes.
From the Laurel School District, Laurel Senior High School Social Studies teacher Jessica Pagida. One former student said Pagida was one of the first teachers who made her feel welcome when she transitioned to Laurel High in the middle of her sophomore year. Every student that has been in her class knows that they will always come to her and that her door is always open. She will help you as much as she can so you won't be lost, and will be there to always listen and give you advice when it is needed. She is an amazing teacher, and I can say from the bottom of my heart that she never let me down.
Being an educator is one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever gotten to be a part of. When I was growing up, I always enjoyed school and participating in sports, but I considered myself an average student. Learning did not come easy to me if I wasn't interested in the subject that was being taught. Having experienced my own struggles and being able to persevere them throughout school, I am able to understand this struggle within my own students, and it's one of the main parts of my teaching. I want to be sure that all students can embrace their own style of learning within my classroom. In order to do this, I create a safe space for students to move, have hands-on experiences, and collaborate to build their knowledge and skills for their own future. This is also why I teach social studies, and I enjoy teaching economics and personal finance. These subjects help students understand the economy they are part of and give them the knowledge and the skills to make good financial decisions. I love helping students grow through their struggles, and I love that I can facilitate their learning of these important life skills. Because what is school if not a place for students to grow and become their best selves?
From the Milford School District, Evelyn I. Morris Early Childhood Center kindergarten teacher Sarah Simon. One parent marveled at how Simon was able to effectively teach a classroom full of kindergartners virtually. This unusual school year allowed parents like me the unique opportunity to observe our child's instruction, and I was so impressed with what I witnessed with Miss Simon. She was able to constantly engage the children and make them feel like they were really in a classroom. Her stories and activities were interesting and educational, and her method of teaching, especially in math, was clear and easy to understand.
One of the most memorable moments for me as an educator came during a professional learning opportunity. Teachers were asked to take the Adverse Childhood Experiences quiz, or the ACEs quiz. Out of 10 possible points, I scored a 0. This meant that in my youth, I had not experienced any of today's 10 most common childhood traumas. Great teachers inspire learning, but the best teachers use the power of positive relationships to change lives. Those are the teachers we remember. Growing up, I wasn't a student who had experienced trauma or who counted on school for the next warm meal. But just like every other student, I too needed my teachers. I needed them to encourage me and to believe in me when I lacked the confidence to believe in myself, to challenge me to step out of my comfort zone and try new things. So today, it's my goal to cultivate a strong classroom community of learners who celebrate each other's successes, learn from mistakes, sing, dance, and embrace each other for who they are. I strive to be a role model, showing them the love and kindness that I hope they one day carry with them into their future. I teach because my students need me, just as I once needed my teachers. But to be honest, I need them too. They bring me some of life's greatest joy, and they motivate me to be a better person.
From the Newcastle County Vocational Technical School District, St. George's Technical High School physical science teacher Dustin Creighton. When his principal surveys freshmen about their 9th grade experience at the end of the year, he asks them to select one teacher or a course that motivates them to run to school every morning. Mr. Creighton's physical science class is a consistent response, the principal said. adding that when he asks why he often hears, he cares and makes science fun, said that principal. Dustin's ability to connect with students is second to none.
I think back to what got me into teaching. I wanted to follow a route of, finance or business like my older brother. But when I got into college, I struggled to think about constantly being this lonely person in this 4x4 walls of an office space. And I thought about, those relationships I had with people that I experienced in my career. I remember, elementary school, having a teacher, Miss Fitzwater, who believed that I was going to be the next novelist for children's books. And I always remember her being, pushing me to be more creative and loving my illustrations and celebrating, my pictures that I would draw. I remember Miss Fox teaching me about English and understanding how to pick apart, literature and understanding foreshadowing. It really made me really reevaluate how I view movies. And I always kind of appreciated that for her. I talk about Jack Holloway, who always kind of pushed me to do my best and taught me how to deal with adversity. I always thought about coming across him in the grocery store and discussing, my struggles in college and not wanting to have that conversation, not wanting to let him down. And I thought about the power there and how important that is to be that for a student, be somebody they don't want to let down. If that's the motivating factor for their success, I think it's such a rewarding feeling to have and to be that for someone like he was for me.
From the Polytech School District, Polytech High English Language Arts teacher Deborah Castillo-Hall. Miss Castillo-Hall's classroom is one of comfort and support, said one colleague. During this pandemic, Miss Castillo-Hall continued Zoom sessions with the students who just needed to talk. This was during the summer when teachers were not required to work, but it demonstrates how Miss Castillo-Hall goes above and beyond to meet the needs of all students, whether they're in her classroom or not.
Who inspired me? Every one of my teachers inspired me. I had the most wonderful teachers throughout my entire education. I always knew they cared for me. I always felt special. They gave me their undivided attention. Rapport was everything to them, and it is to me as well. I hope that my students look at me as I looked at them, so inspired, so motivated to be a good person, and so eager to enter into my future.
From the Red Clay Consolidated School District, Linden Hill Elementary music teacher Matthew Marion. Former students and colleagues note Marion's dedication to the arts. Marion has worked hard to continue teaching musically as traditionally as possible during COVID precautions, his principal said. He can be seen wheeling around a tall cart full of musical instruments through the hallways every day. This takes so much effort, including labeling and cleaning each piece after every use. He has an infectious passion for his job, plays several instruments, and somehow manages to make the recorder sound pretty great.
One of my most memorable moments in teaching starts with a kindergarten student who was extremely shy to the point where you'd say good morning when you passed them, and she would look the other way because she couldn't say hello back. And one of the things I really try to instill in my classroom is that everybody can be part of our music community no matter what their comfort level is. I really try to make the students know that they can make mistakes, that it's part of our learning process. So throughout the years, I just remember seeing this student become just a little bit more and more comfortable each year. And every once in a while, you would see her step just a little bit further out of her comfort zone. And eventually, it got to the point in 5th grade where she had the confidence and auditioned and eventually got the role as the lead in our school musical. And I remember after watching her sing and dance around the stage with confidence, just sitting back with a couple other teachers and thinking, what happened to that shy kindergartner? And where did that student go? And it was just an incredible thing to see. And I've run into that student in the community, and she's not in theater anymore, but she still has that confidence, which is so important for anything that she's going to do. And it's a really memorable moment for me in teaching because it's a great reminder that it's not just about the subject that we teach, it's so much bigger than that. We're helping these students find their voice and develop into the people that they're ultimately going to become.
From the Seaford School District, Seaford Senior High School teacher Melissa Pinkerton. Colleagues point to both Pinkerton's impeccable work ethic and her excellent rapport with all students, said one. I can attest to her ability to connect with students while holding them accountable, something many teachers aspire but do not always achieve in their classrooms. She is firm but fair, carefully towing the line between compassion and tough love, routinely going the extra mile and always with the student's best interest at heart.
In the world around me, no matter what other professions I found interest in for brief moments, there was only one profession that I saw my family values projected into one single career. I have grown up with the most loving, supportive, and encouraging environment because of my family. And I really wanted to find a profession where I could be my most genuine self, that person I am when I'm with my family. I really felt that teaching was that place where I could make a living helping others while also living my best life, one that was true to who I am as a person. I wanted to be a teacher to other students that those teachers were in the past to me. I also wanted to make sure that no student was ever made to feel like a failure because of my teaching. My thoughts of teaching only became a reality after watching my younger brother struggle through much of high school while I was in college. He would ask for my help often, and when I explained things to him, he felt more comfortable with the information. When I finished my associate's degree, it was my brother who inspired me to continue my education to become a teacher. And it is his experience that I think of every day as a teacher when I see a student struggle. He gave me the awareness and the motivation to ensure no child ever feels like he did when he was in school.
From the Smyrna School District, Sunnyside Elementary School music teacher Lauren Mohammed. One former student said Mohammed made her feel welcome when she arrived in the school mid-year. It was very hard for me to switch schools that year, but Miss Mohammed was always in my corner. In front of kids, she is always upbeat, positive, and so much fun. My mom says she is like that even when she is not in front of kids, too. She is fair, and even the kids who can be challenging would show her lots of respect.
Growing up, I truly knew I wanted to be a teacher, specifically a music teacher, from when I was very, very small. And that is mostly in part because I grew up with my biggest, not only educational role models, but my biggest role models, my parents. My dad was a band director at the middle school and high school level for 35 and a half, I can't forget the half, 35 and a half years. And my mom was an elementary music teacher turned principal, turned fifth grade classroom teacher. And what really impacted me to become a teacher was seeing the connections that they made with all of their students. Their band programs and music programs brought all sorts of family members together, and it was not for the sound of fifth grade trumpet players that just picked up their instrument for the first time. It was because they were there to cheer their students on, and I always saw the appreciation on their face. The students were proud, the families were excited, and everybody was so appreciative of this community that they built. And I think the other thing that's so impactful about not only just education, but music education, is its ability to teach students not just notes and rhythms, but how to be a member of a team and how to stay determined and show perseverance, because it's not always easy. And that is just a little bit about why I was so inspired to follow in my parents' footsteps, and I hope to be half the educator that they are every day I teach.
From the Sussex Technical School District, Sussex Tech High English Language Arts teacher Stephanie Piglow. Ms. Piglow invests in each child personally, helping them not only to emerge as competent readers and writers, but as socially responsible members of society and caring individuals, said one parent, who recalled how Piglow was a mentor to her daughter in a time of serious emotional and relational distress. For me as a mother, she was there for my child when I wasn't able to be. There is no better feeling as a parent than knowing that there are other caring adults who are standing in the gap for you when your child is away from home and hurting.
I wanted to be a teacher because I had some really great teachers in my life, and I had some teachers who I really didn't connect with. But looking back, that's okay. I think every teacher can offer a kid something. I just don't like it when my kids slip through the cracks. It's my job to connect with kids every single day. I try to look every kid in their eyeballs and be authentic when I greet my kids at the door. I like to go to their sporting events, and you know, I'm at a lot of basketball, football, baseball games. I like to go to their, you know, concerts and their plays each year. I think having a caring adult in the audience is super important. Not every kid has that luxury of having somebody that's rooting them on. I think being present when we're with our kids in the classroom and really being a good listener is what makes a good teacher. And I try to find the common threads that I have with my students, and you know, what they're about and what they're passionate about. I try to be a mirror for them and show them like what they're good at, because they are passionate and they do have strengths and gifts, and I think it's my job to help them open that gift and figure out how to use it to make the world a better place.
And finally, from the Woodbridge School District, Woodbridge High English Language Arts teacher, Kyra Wagner. Wagner is known for her student-first mentality. A colleague recalled how Wagner's targeted efforts forged a relationship with a student with academic and behavioral challenges. Staff watched as the student improved in his learning and behavioral thanks to Wagner's efforts. Said one colleague, "This miracle, though, is simply the extraordinary care Kyra has for her students, socioeconomical health, and recognizing their values beyond test metrics and demographic data, and placing each of them first."
Growing up, I never imagined myself becoming an English teacher. I always struggled academically, but I always excelled athletically. So school was always a bit of a struggle for me. It took me a little bit longer to learn a concept or grasp the main idea of something. My mom even got me a math tutor while I was in high school. And I think my third grade teacher even reached out to my parents asking if they could put me in summer school because I was losing so much material during those summer months. But the one thing I always had was a support system. I always had my teachers, my coaches, and my parents in my corner. And that's why I became a teacher. I wanted to be in the corner for somebody else and kind of pay that forward. So for me, I really embraced the struggling learners. I see potential in them that they may not necessarily see in themselves. When I embrace those struggling learners, the best thing I can do is establish a relationship or some type of connection. I feel like it's very important to establish that genuine, authentic relationship with each and every student in the classroom. And what that does is open the door for conversations to move forward, and it creates that safe learning environment for each and every student. And that is my message moving forward. Like, create those relationships, create that foundation so you can have a successful year and your students can see success within themselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored tonight to celebrate these outstanding educators. Congratulations to all 20 teachers, and thank you for the differences each and every one of you is making in your classrooms, schools, and communities.
Featured stars on our video to stand, please, so we could give them one really hearty applause, round of applause with gratitude. Thank you all for what you do each day. Each of the candidates represents the very, very best qualities in the profession of teaching. Each has the respect and the admiration of students, colleagues, faculty members, teachers, parents, administrators, and members of the community. We really have seen the best of the best tonight, so we should be very proud of those 20 educators. We also want to give a special thanks to James Pernell for producing that great video. It's an annual highlight of this special night. James also took the wonderful classroom photographs of our teachers that you saw outside, and he is documenting tonight's celebration. And speaking of celebration, we have someone who has joined us who is always willing to travel miles and miles and miles to be with us to celebrate the great teachers that we have in the state of Delaware. I would like to introduce Senator Carper, who always has lots of words of encouragement and praise for our teachers in this state. So, Senator Carper, it's all yours.
Don't tell my wife.
It's not in the script.
But I love this woman. Give her another round of applause. She is the best.
Thank you.
Actually, Martha knows I love this woman. And we love all of you who've been nominated and your families. Would the family members of the nominees just stand up and receive our applause? Stand up. I spent, as a governor, I spent a few years of my life in the military. Do we have any veterans here? Do we have any veterans here? Let's put our hands together for our veterans. Come on. Spent a few years of my life in uniform, and some of you have been spouses or children of veterans. And you know, when someone serves, male or female, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, it's not just the person who serves in uniform; it's their family. It's their family. And we don't do these jobs alone. I know the governor doesn't do his job. I certainly don't do my job. It's a family affair. And it's for those of you who support and share your loved ones, your husband, your wife, your brother, sister, whatever, thank you for doing that. I've just come from the Farm Bureau dinner, and up in this, they one for each of our three counties, and I've just come from there and shared some thoughts with them about what it's like to be a farmer today compared to what it was like 100 years ago, or 50 years ago, or gosh, even 25 years ago. The kind of technology that's involved, the knowledge that's involved, the use of the internet that's involved. It's just extraordinary. And we were talking tonight about carbon capture and sequestration with farmers, taking carbon dioxide out of the air. We have way too much. Figuring out how to put it in the soil and enrich the soil so that the soil would be more fertile. I mean, it's just a whole new world out there. And I don't care whether we're talking about agriculture or any a number of other occupations. We need ever more and better educated people. We need better people. Thomas Jefferson, can any of you think anything that Thomas Jefferson ever said? Raise your hand. You know, Thomas Jefferson used to say, if the people know the truth, they won't make a mistake. Isn't that good? If the people know the truth, they won't make a mistake. Thomas Jefferson also said, if we expect a nation to be ignorant and free, we expect what never was and never will be. Think of that. We expect a nation to be ignorant and free. We expect what never was and never will be. If we're going to continue to be an educated country, God knows we want to be, need to be. We need great teachers. We need great teachers. Not just in Sussex County, not just in Kent County, not just in Newcastle County, not just in Delaware, but all over this country. And I just want to say to those of you whose life work is not just bringing kids up in our schools, educating them and imparting in them the lessons that they need to be successful. But thank you for really helping to preserve our democracy. Helping to preserve our democracy. I'll close with this. Anybody know where the Constitution of the United States of America was first ratified? Dover, Delaware. In fact, just a couple of miles from where they're gathered here today. Just a couple of miles. And the beginning of the Constitution, it begins with something like this. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. It doesn't say we're perfect, but in order to form a more perfect union. And that's sort of like the guideline, that's the playbook. But in order for us to be able to execute and to make sure that the United States of America turns out to be the city on the side of the hill and like the beacon for democracy for the world, we need to be educated. And those of you here, you're not just teaching math, you're not just teaching reading, or you're not just teaching history, but you're helping to keep our democracy alive. And that is the greatest gift of all. For those of you who are exceptional at doing it, just exceptional at doing it, special thanks. Kim Stock, is Kim Stock here? Hi, Kim. Hi, Kim. I remember when Kim's a great teacher and a highly regarded teacher in her district, in her school. But she also ran for office this past year. And I had the opportunity, I think for the first time ever, to sort of like campaign for someone running for Teacher of the Year. And John, I wish we could have used her coattails when we're running. It would have helped us. But I just want to say thank you for being just a terrific role model, and for all that you do. I've gotten to know her over the last year or so. Have a huge respect for her, and I think I owe her a lunch. Now that the COVID's just about behind us, just about behind us, I want to do what we've done for every Teacher of the Year for as long as I can remember, and that is to invite the Teacher of the Year, their family, to come to our nation's capital and have lunch in the Capitol with me and their family. And we look forward to doing that with you. And the COVID, thanks to the good work of this man right here, Governor John Carney, COVID is almost in our rearview mirror. And if we keep on keeping on, we'll get through this, and we'll be off to a brighter future. Great to be with all of you tonight. God bless you. Congratulations to all of our nominees, and to the ultimate winner. Let's have lunch, and I'm buying. Thanks so much.
In the program booklet that each of you has, you will find the list of several organizations that are giving special gifts to our state winner tonight, including the Delaware School Board Association and Senator Carper's office. I also want to express heartfelt appreciation to Delaware State University and the University of Delaware for each offering our winner a fully paid doctorate degree. What an incredible gift that is for her. Also, Jostens deserves a special thanks for its donation of a Teacher of the Year ring. And Advantech, we thank you for your gifts for all 20 of our nominees. Finally, I extend our gratitude to the Delaware Department of Transportation for providing our winner with a special license plate. Thank you very much, and she will, or he, will be very proud to display that throughout the year. Most of us had a special teacher, and several of the speakers this evening mentioned that. Someone who helped us to get where we are today, or where we are in life in general, whether that was by identifying a learning challenge that we had and providing the needed supports, or by recognizing a special interest or a talent and encouraging us to pursue it. Maybe it was a teacher who saw that something outside of class was affecting our ability to learn, and found the wraparound services that we needed so that we could thrive. Or perhaps that educator showed up to cheer us on from the stands at our big game, or attended one of our concerts. Perhaps it was the educator whose own passion for his or her content fostered our own excitement in learning. Our 20 Teachers of the Year have influenced their students in profound ways, some obvious, some not so obvious yet. These district and charter Teachers of the Year are the teachers we're celebrating tonight. Together, all of us in this room and those watching at home honor them for representing our profession and the best qualities of teaching. So again, I congratulate you all. We annually bring together a committee that represents teachers, administrators, students, and families who review a group of dedicated teachers searching for that person who has the skills, commitment, and passion that each of us saw in that incredible teacher that we so clearly remember. The teacher they choose must exemplify that dedication, talent, caring, and energy. In your programs, there is an explanation of the process the committee uses in selecting our state Teacher of the Year. As our nominees can attest, it is quite a rigorous process. I'd like to give a special thanks to our observers, our readers, and our judges for their conscientious and enthusiastic contributions to the selection process. Their names are listed in the back of your program. And to honor all of our 20 nominees, each one will receive a cash grant of $2,000. The process will result in a few minutes in the announcement of our State Teacher of the Year. But the person that is selected as the State Teacher of the Year will receive an additional cash grant of $3,000 and $5,000 to be used for the educational benefit of his or her students. In this night of excitement, we traditionally recognize our reigning Teacher of the Year. Kimberly Stock has been Delaware's Teacher of the Year for the past 12 months, in a year like none other. Tonight, she passes the torch to one of our 20 candidates. Kimberly has truly represented us well. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to once again and one last time to introduce to you our current Delaware Teacher of the Year from the Red Clay Consolidated School District, Kimberly Stock.
Thank you. I want to add my thank you to Secretary Bunting with everything else that everyone else has said. And just a personal story. Secretary Bunting is somebody that, even though she's the highest level in the state of Delaware as far as education, she still invites the opinions and thoughts and viewpoints of teachers through her advisories, through her many different advisories. And I was so inspired by that I actually asked leadership in Red Clay if we could also start a Building Teacher of the Year advisory that would continue year to year, made up of the Building Teachers of the Year. So thank you so much, Secretary Bunting. I'm very appreciative of it. I'd like for you just to indulge me for just a second and think about what it might have been like to be me for just a couple minutes this summer. So for the first time ever, all the State Teachers of the Year had met in person in Huntsville, Alabama at the Space Camp. And our task for that day was to go up 3 stories on a platform and to zip line backwards into a lake. Now, this might sound like fun to some of you, but to someone like me, who is really terrified of heights, I hate scary rides, this was awful. This was truly awful. And I remember just kind of really slowly climbing my way up to the platform in my halter and everything. And I remember kind of going just slower and slower. And I remember the other State Teachers of the Year who were safely on the ground. They started to cheer for me. They started to say, "Come on, Kim, you can do it. You're a boss. Come on, Kim, you got to do it. You got this. Do it for your students." And that inspiration and that shouting for me really just made me stop and just think about really all of the amazing 10,000 colleagues that I have here in the state of Delaware. This is something that we do every single day for our 140,000 students in the state every day, pandemic or not. And it made me think about what teachers do to inspire our students. First of all, number 1, we hide our fear with a smile and step out of our comfort zone to do crazy things like zip line into a lake, just to inspire our students and just to motivate them. Number 2, we take a scared and really unsure child and we inspire them, we motivate them, we help them to leap to new places that they had no idea that they could reach before. And number 3, we cheer for each other, we cheer for our students because we want the best for each other and for our students, pandemic or not. And these are the things that we do. So thinking about my amazing colleagues and thinking about my students back at my school, I decided I had to represent. This was a tall order. So I slowly walked across the platform. I turned around, I closed my eyes, and I leaped. And what do you know? I actually flew. I have so many people to thank for this amazing year and for tonight. Secretary Bunting, Governor Carney, Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long, State Treasurer Colleen Davis, Representative and House Education Chair Kim Williams, State Senator and Senate Education Chair, and former teacher Senator Laura Sturgeon, 27 Delaware State Teacher of the Year and current State Board of Education member Wendy Turner, Vice President Doug Peters of Voya, U.S. Senator Tom Carper, Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, and all the organizations who donate generously to the Teacher of the Year program. Red Clay Superintendent Darrell Green, all of my district administrators, my building administrators at McCain, my colleagues, and of course my wonderful students. And I don't want to forget the Teachers of the Year, the family, the Delaware Teachers of the Year, who've welcomed me with open arms. And I have one final thank you. Thank you to Allison May for mentoring me, for helping to make our year possible. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Allison. And to all the 2022 District Teachers of the Year, I just want you to know, congratulations, and you're all winners, despite what may or may not happen tonight, because what you do and who you are is so powerful, and people want to listen to a District Teachers of the Year. So use this year to advocate for your students and for our profession. And to the 2022 Delaware Teacher of the Year, I'm here for you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so happy for you. And I want to be the first person to just welcome you to the Delaware Teacher of the Year family. We are here to laugh with you, to listen to you, to problem solve with you, and to just love you. Welcome. And so my best piece of advice for you, the 2022 Delaware Teacher of the Year, is to just take a step back, close your eyes, leap, and you're going to fly. Thank you.
Thank you again, Kim. And now it's almost time for that magical moment that we've all been waiting for all evening. But I want to reiterate something that Kim said before we announce the new winner. There are 20 of you sitting in the audience this evening, 20 out of over 10,000 teachers. You all are winners. Only one of you is going to be the state Teacher of the Year, but truly you are all winners. Please remember that. And you stand for so many amazing things in your districts, and you also have each other. So you will have many opportunities, as Kim said, to advocate and to continue to serve and to shine, because you are the bright lights in our educational force. So congratulations to all of you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you once again the governor of our state, the Honorable John Carney, who is going to announce our 2022 Delaware Teacher of the Year. Let's give him a round of applause. Magic envelope.
What an incredible night, huh? Round of applause again for all those 20 teachers. I know you're eager to hear who the 2022 Teacher of the Year is going to be, but I got about 10 minutes of remarks that I'd like to make, follow up on. You know, I've always been a little hesitant to have the responsibility of announcing the Teacher of the Year, as if it was my decision. This year, more than ever, I feel a little reluctant to be up here announcing who the Teacher of the Year was. And I would like to bring everybody's attention to the process by which the Teacher of the Year is selected. And it's on the third page from the end. And there's nothing in there that says anything about the governor doing anything. I've had to make some hard decisions this year, some that people liked and some that people didn't like. I can't think of a harder decision, though, than selecting among those 20 candidates that we just heard from in their videos. Another round of applause. They're just extraordinary, and every single one is a winner. But the ones selected through the process identified in that program, and ultimately by recommendation to the Secretary of the Education, is Joshua Tabron from the Brandywine School District.
You want to give her this?
Okay. It's all yours. Oh, thank you. I don't think I don't even know where to start. Thank you. Okay, so first off, I just want to say, being selected by your school district for all of the nominees tonight is one thing, but then when you keep hearing people say 10,000 teachers, you're just like, okay, yeah, so you did a great job. So I just first want to say thank you to all the nominees. Thank you to the committee. Thank you to everyone who believes in education, because that's why we're here. We believe, and we are the best representatives for believing in children. And that's what we do. We believe in children and we believe in education. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. This really is like winning an Academy Award. And it does feel great to be nominated, but I'm thankful for the win. Thank you, God. Okay. So I did prepare something, and just bear with me. I'm sorry. To be recognized for something that I and many others do purposefully and with hope and good intention on a daily basis is an honor in itself. Thank you for that. Thank you to the Department of Education, the State Teacher of the Year Committee, the State Teacher of the Year nominees, Senator Tom Carper, Governor John Carney, Secretary Dr. Susan Bunting, thank you, Voya Financial, and everyone else. Everyone else. I extend gratitude to my family, my husband Hector, my children Ava, Mia, and Zachary, who have shared me with my students and their families for years. I love you all so much. Thank you. Thank you to my family in New York who's watching and has been texting me nonstop. I cannot check my phone. Okay, thank you to all of my friends, my sisters, in my group chats. I do all of the things through these group chats, and every single time I'm discouraged, my teacher friends, my sorority friends, my sister friends, my work friends, my English department, my special education department is always encouraging me. See, the power of a text message, just when you think you can't do it, someone sends something, and I appreciate you all for that. I thank my students for the daily life lessons, and I hope that we continue to learn together so that we can navigate this ever-changing world. I thank you to my family in New York, my mother and my sisters, for always pushing the importance of education and how education breaks down all barriers. I learned early on that your heart and your brain can never be too full. Love and learning have no limits, and I'm thankful for wanting to always be a lifelong learner, because it changes every minute, and if we don't change with it, we're left behind and we're leaving other children behind as well. I thank you all, and I thank my students most of all for trusting me and having the faith to step out and take learning risks despite the ever-present feelings of doubt, the I can't, and the this is too much or this is not who I am. Teachers feel those doubts as well, but together we keep pushing ahead towards our purpose. Let us all never forget and never get so wrapped up in who we think we are that we forget to become who we can be. And I want you all to know that I will continue to love you all for who I know you will be. To every teacher that I've ever worked with over the years, thank you for being open to inclusion and welcoming my students as our students. Our classrooms are sacred places, and I thank you for feeling safe enough to let me in. Thank you, Heidi Walker and Mary Pinkston, my Brandywine family, for being amazing teacher models. I've always felt the need to persevere because of your examples. You set the bar really high. Thank you to everyone that offered to read and reread and read again the packet. I thank you so much for that. And to my Brandywine School District family, you are my examples of exemplary work ethic. You are my examples of passion and support, and I've never worked with a better group of people. Thank you to my Brandywine High School family. You are why I'm consistently proud to be BSD. To my special education department and to our special ed admin, we share the weight of the work and we share the joy as well. Special education does work when we work together. I accept this honor for all of us and for all that we do. I hope that we can continue to open doors of collaboration for teachers who work directly with students. We should be at every table where decisions about students and education are being made. Teaching and learning and leadership must be intertwined. To be effective, our roles must be interchangeable. In order to grow together, the leader must become the learner, and sometimes the student becomes the teacher. There is so much to learn in every role. The load of teaching is heavy. Imagine how much we could lift if we carried the weight together. Effective inclusion and effective special education works when we all work together. Let's all show up and change the future. I vow to make my Delaware educators proud, and I thank you for believing in teachers, believing in education, and believing in me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A few final thoughts after this wonderful evening. I'd like to close the ceremonies by offering congratulations again, not only to our new State Teacher of the Year, but to all of the other 19 of our honored educators here tonight. Teachers, you have been chosen by your school communities to represent all of our teachers in the state, in your respective districts, your charter schools, and so forth, but you are models in the community every day. So on behalf of the students and the staffs across the state of Delaware, I sincerely thank you for your dedication and your impact on young lives. I would like to thank Allison May for the many, many, many hours that she put into this ceremony. Her creativity this year is beyond explanation, and we really have had a very successful evening, Allison, because of the way you approached a real challenge. So thank you. And I'd like to reiterate my sincere appreciation to Voya for the leadership that Voya has given us throughout the 14 years, as Doug said, and its incredible generosity in support of our Teacher of the Year program. For those invited guests, as well as our 20 nominees, I hope this evening has been as special for you as it has been for me. I really appreciate being with you tonight. But as you leave, we also want to tell you that there is a treat for you, and that's if you would please use the doors to my left and stop at the concession stand. There is a treat for all of you to take with you this evening. We didn't have dinner, but we have treats. So let us end this one final salute to the local Teachers of the Year. I'll ask them to stand again along with Jasa. One final tribute to our local Teachers of the Year and all of our nominees. I thank you all for being a part of this wonderful evening. I wish you Godspeed and a safe ride home. Good night.